There's so much happening, you know what I mean, that I think it's only right that we address some of the stuff that's going on too. Who better than us?
It's a fact.
Indeed, true indeed. How's my light? Am I cool?
Yeah, you perfect, brother.
You Gucci.
All right.
Holiday Monday, but it still feels like the longest week ever.
Yeah, true that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. 4-day work week, but it just felt like the longest week. It just so much has gone on. You know what I mean? So much to unpack, so much to wrap your head around. It's just wow.
Yeah.
So much, so much, man.
Hey Tony, what's up? We see you out there.
Not sure where we begin.
No, yo, we're gonna unpack the whole thing. We're gonna unpack the whole suitcase. You dig? We ain't gonna leave no shoes, no belts, nothing gonna be left in the bag. We're gonna unpack the whole thing from beginning to end, man. I mean, it's that time, man. It's the time where we get a few brothers who's not gonna agree with the status quo. It's
Right.
time that we get a few brothers who is gonna be able to speak their point effectively. It's about time that we get a few brothers who's going to be able to speak it without fear of repercussion. Let's go speak about it, man. And then, however that drives the community, there's got to be a start to these kind of conversations. So I'm glad we're the ones that's going to start that. You dig?
Well, we see what the community is being driven to right now. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, we're watching it play out live on CNN and all these national news outlets. And they're CNN arrested a guy on camera last night, like the only black guy that was out there reporting the news, which is why he got arrested. Not even sure if it was staged. It looked just weird, you know what I'm saying? Like he's reporting the news and then he gets arrested by the Minnesota police.
We're gonna get into it. Don't go too far.
Yeah.
My fault. My bad.
Nah, hey, it's something to be passionate about.
It's just
hey, Danielle, what's up? We see y'all out there. We appreciate y'all joining us, rocking with us for a little while.
No, it's a lot, man. You know what I mean? Between dealing with things in your own community, you know what I'm saying? But the people's champs, man. The people's champs.
Yeah, that's us, man.
People's champs. Word up. Word up. We're letting that build up a little more.
Yeah, let's get a little buzz and then we
How everybody doing though besides all that, man?
I'm cooling, man. Cooling. Ran some errands today. Got some home improvements taken care of, man. Just, been busy, man. Took a nap, man. I needed it today.
Naps are key, my brother. Naps are essential.
Oh, yeah.
Naps are essential. Naps are essential, man. You know what I'm saying? The crazy thing is that, I don't think I realized how essential naps were until, I got this age.
It's funny you say that, man. My wife been trying to put me on a nap for years. And I was always trying to...
Hey, yo, Ian, real quick, our live ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was just recording. It just
I gotta go back and do it all over again.
You say you gotta go back and do it. Now this is just gonna be
Yeah.
Yeah, we good?
It's recording.
I thought it was supposed to just go. What happened?
I don't know. I mean, it's on like I got it on Facebook and it's just showing that it's live, but we're froze.
But it ended.
Yeah,
Huh?
what you're saying on Facebook is their video in its entirety. It's not recording live.
Yeah.
It's as if the show was over.
Yeah. The live is preparing again now though.
How do you know that?
Because it's ain't on my phone.
So how do I keep it from turning off?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
All right, let's try this again.
Because it's on my phone, it says live is preparing. And I can see us on Facebook, just froze. But yeah, Danielle must have came at me all day today. But they went to today's protest.
We want a title on this thing? What we doing?
Huh?
Yeah, we don't need to add no title. We just go live. Fuck it.
Live.
All right, I just hit the button again. Let's see if this works.
Uh-huh. I see it.
All right, so whatever I did, man, I got to make sure I don't do it again.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man. I think the people who rock with us, they know it's a learning process for us on the technical side, everything, man. So they're gonna forgive that, and we're gonna keep rocking on, man.
All right, looks like we're back live. But,
Yeah.
Oh shit, yo, you seen too? July 31st,
What's up?
NBA's back.
really?
Oh yeah. They revised anything? Switch anything up?
I think now the sticking points are figuring out if they should do 1 through 16 or how they should play that out. If it should be like a tournament style, this is gonna be nuts.
Hmm.
And part of the thing too, and I was reading about, is the NBA's desire to get Zion Williamson and the Pelicans in the playoffs.
Yeah. They're like 3.5 games back though.
Because they would play the Lakers in the first round, I believe. I believe it's the Lakers.
LeBron versus Zion matchup.
You know? I ain't gonna front. Yeah, I mean, I feel away, but I miss basketball. I miss hoops, man. I ain't even gonna front.
Tell me about it. A lot of my circulated around just basketball.
Joseph, what up, bro? Hold up real quick. Joseph, we appreciate you coming through, brother. As you can see, we're rocking with a little bit of technical situation. We're still kind of getting that all figured out. We appreciate you being here. We're going to get started shortly and get the show started. But right now, we're just shooting shit. So feel free to join us, brother.
Who that, J-Roll?
Yeah.
Basketball.
J Royale.
Hold up real quick. Joseph, we appreciate you. And I had to kill y'all have the audio killed on your end from the actual Facebook Live page?
Yeah, I haven't even gone on it yet.
All right. If you do, you got to kill that audio.
No, I see it, but I don't have my audio on. At least I hope I don't. Actually, I don't have it on now.
Hey, Chuck, when you let me know. Maybe push the button.
I didn't hear you, King.
Let me know when you're ready. We get started. Because you got an eye on the audience. I don't.
Yeah. Y'all go to y'all pages and make sure y'all share this. Yeah, go to the Facebook page and make sure y'all share it on the Facebook page.
Mhm. Let's see.
Good.
Y'all send those kites out?
Huh?
Y'all got to send those kites out, get people to join so we can get started.
Yeah, I just sent another one.
Yeah, we good?
Link's still good.
I'm preparing over here.
Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, cue up one of those joints, man. Let me listen to them while we wait for the people to join.
You got it. We'll start with the light one before we get into the heavy one.
Let's talk about it.
Oh.
We've been through it all, though it could be worse. We've been
For
moving
real.
in a state of alert. There's nothing new or sharp about the cutting edge. If they build a wall, let's jump the fence. I'm over this. Cold steps can never put the fear in me. What we built here is godly. They can't gentrify the heart of kings. Let's just not talk about it. If I make a move, you're coming with me. What about the love? Coming with me. What about the name? It's coming with me. What about the sea? It's coming with me. Game, it's coming with me. What about the love? Coming with me. What about the name? It's coming with me. What about the sea? It's coming with me. What about the game? It's coming with me. Stay now. Stay and stay now. Shake until we get what we need. Oh yeah. I'm okay now. Just stay and hold it down. Shake and let it fall like leaves on the floor. We couldn't stand to see our children shot dead in the streets. I finally took a knee, and practice took me out the lead. Now I'm not much for games, but I play for keeps.
Hey, question.
King James for you.
Yeah.
I know we still pre, but have any of y'all children talked to y'all about this?
Say it again.
Any of your children talk to you about this?
Nah. I don't think my daughter will come to me about it, but I probably need to go to her about it.
Yeah, I went to mine today about it, man, and her reaction almost broke me.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm afraid of, but we got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it almost broke me and almost broke her. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a 10-year-old dog telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the crazy thing is, like, without you talking to them about it, right? They're seeing it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like TikTok, the news, just whatever the case, you know, Facebook, it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so sometimes before you go and have those conversations, they already kind of know. You know what I mean? So, you know, I asked my daughter, I was like, you know, well, how does that make you feel? And like her response just like was just like, you know, Daddy, all Black lives should matter. These people should know that Black lives matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy. You know what I mean? And she got all, like, she got patterns in her eyes when talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's heavy, man. It's heavy. It's heavy. But
There's no gain that's gonna come if you're not lifting the heavy. You know what I mean? Like any bozo can lift the light shit. The heavy stuff is where we're gonna get some growth.
Word up. So pretend it's a couple days after vacation. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretend it's the Saturday or Sunday after vacation. It's a lot to unpack, man. You know, but who better? Who better? Oh shit. My mic sound nice. Check one.
All right, so we might get started, man. For those of y'all out there listening, watching, from the Sparring Minds, I'm Hightower.
How you doing? I'm Sam Little, Mr. Maritime.
Oh man, it's the chef, Mr. Main Topic.
You already know who I am, man. It's Charlie Hustle, aka Charles Jones.
Capo.
Yes. So it's been a while since we recorded, y'all. What's been going on?
Everything, man. Everything been going on, you dig? So we got some time here. We gotta touch on everything, babe. I mean, but not only the dark shit that's going on, there's a lot of great shit happening lately too. So we gotta touch on
That's
all.
a fact. Yep, that's a fact.
No? I look forward to this hour. It's our first live show, so obviously we're gonna deal with some technical difficulties, but they've been rocking with us. They know how we get down. They know it's gonna be a quality show. We're gonna give them some good content. So let's deliver.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, last time we caught up was what? Was it Bougie? No, Bounty and Beanie, or was it which verses was it?
It was the Bad and Bougie.
It might as well been, right?
Yo, listen, man. Bounty and Beanie, in my opinion, going forward, have set the bar for how the verses should be. Now, during the pandemic, clearly a lot of the verses won't be in person like that one. But just that one being live and in person kind of made it feel different. You know what I'm saying? And then the real shit with the police coming. Like, how real is that? You know what I mean? The police came, almost tried to shut it down. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. Amazing. Best verses so far, clearly. So, and I got my first win. Shout out to Bounty. I was like 0-3. So shout out to Bounty for helping to play out. Shout out to Bounty. But Beanie did his thing too, though. But definitely shout out to Bounty. Bounty went to work.
It was a concert. It was a concert.
This was the best one, man.
It's such an interesting genre of music that I was intrigued from beginning to end. So I'm super happy with that event. It was obviously the best of the verses. So I'm not going to debate that. So I'm excited to see Shabba Ranks and you know what I mean. Whoever else they want to pull out of the bag. Like I'm all in for that dance ball. It'll be great.
Oh man.
Well, we know if you want to see Shabba, but we know the versus lineup for this weekend probably has Jones more excited than any of us. You know what I'm saying? This is the one he's been waiting for. Actually, he told me privately, hit me up and said, "Yo, man, listen, I can't wait to freaking they get Kirk on there with Fred." I'm like, Jones, it might not happen. He's like, "Yo, man, that would be the one, though. That would, my lane, gospel. That's what I do." I'm like, "Yo."
Clearly, I have no comment on this bullshit that you're talking about right now. But I didn't even know there was a gospel versus this week. Who's going to be involved? Who's going to be involved? Do we know?
Is Kurt?
Kurt versus who? Kurt versus himself?
Fred Hammond. Stop playing like you didn't know, Copper.
on those I didn't know. Like on everything I didn't know. I heard some rumor about it. Y'all talking about it, but I didn't really know.
Oh, okay.
All the notifications for that one.
Yeah, We definitely sent it in the group chat, and we know you got it.
Yeah, see, that was the last, and I thought y'all was bullshit. I didn't even think of mine. All right, well, we'll tune in for that. And then obviously, as good as that matchup was, the disappointment with 112 and Jagged Edge.
Oh man, we were from bad to worse. From good to bad, best to worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the worst battle they've had out there yet. Not even a debate.
I've only seen about 4, 5. That's easily been the worst.
Yeah, you might be. Yeah, you might be right. Because as much as people want to get on the Manny Fresh and Scott Storch battle, you know, the sound wasn't a problem. So the thing with Jagged Edge in 112 was definitely the sound. That's what made it worse. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah. Right now, I mean, I guess we all can agree that was probably the worst one of it. Again, just for the sound. The sound part is what made it, you know. Besides when Luda watched Nelly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What have we got on the plate, man?
Brackets, where we at with those?
We're going to freeze that until we come off of this little moment right now. No, this is real spit. We're going to freeze that until we come off of this little moment right now, and then we're going to jump right back into that. We are in the middle of the hip-hop rap group brackets.
Best hip-hop groups in the 90s.
Yeah, but I think because of the heavy nature of today, I wanted to give it some time. Just breathe on this for a minute, and then we'll jump back into celebrating music probably next week.
All right, so you want to get right to it?
I mean, I think it's about time. I think this is what we're here for. At least for today, man. We're here to talk about what everybody else is talking about. You know what I mean? And like I said, who better to bring to light some of this stuff than the Sparring Minds crew? So, you know, I'm ready for this one, man.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack, man. Where you want to start?
I mean, y'all want to start in Minnesota? That's obvious, right? Y'all want to do that?
Yeah, we can start Minnesota and go back.
Let's start Minnesota and go and work our way back. Because I mean, this thing's happening in Minnesota, Miami. We're all over the country with what's going on.
New York, right? New York too.
Come on. So let's start in Minnesota. That's the biggest one. That's the most recent. Let's start there and work our way back.
So before we go any further, man, condolences to Mr. Floyd and his family. It was an unfortunate situation. I don't know how to feel about it other than just anger and rage and like I still haven't processed how I truly feel about all of this. But yeah, I won't get too deep, man. I want to open it up and definitely discuss it as a group. But first and foremost, man, condolences to his family. And you know, I don't know.
This ain't a case where this ain't a case that's unfortunate. This ain't that. I'm gonna start right there. This is a case that's unnecessary.
Yep.
And along with all the other stories that we're gonna talk about here today, and we're gonna talk about some history. We're gonna run it as much information as we can out here, but unfortunate is the wrong word. That's the word a lot of people want us to use to pacify the situation. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we need to come at it with the correct mindset that another black man killed at the hands of police on the street in this United States of America will be 3 months from now forgotten and brushed under the rug. We're waiting for the next event. Waiting for the next George to happen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we become so numb to the bullshit that this country has provided to minorities that now it's just part of a news cycle. You dig what I'm saying? Like, something that we just expect every quarter. We act the ass in the streets. We go flip a couple cars or whatever state it was in. We go on social media and put all these posts about, oh, this is crazy, and then we move on to the next one, right? So at some point, what my brother Ant labeled as unfortunate, we need to embrace as unnecessary, and then build the plan to figure out how we're going to move forward from that.
Hold up, before you go any further, I'm catching some background noise. Anyone else hear that? I want to make sure people hear what we got to say, man. This shit's crazy. Go ahead, Chuck. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was done with my point. I mean, that's just the intro point. But I do hear the echo that you hear, so I want to address that first.
Yeah.
All right. Well, most updated piece of information regarding Minneapolis is that the officer was in fact.
Hold up, Ant. Sammy and Maine, can y'all check your audio and kill it, whatever that is? Something's duplicated.
Yeah, there's nothing here. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing here either. I don't have my phone on, so.
Chuck, you might have to mute that Facebook if you got it.
I muted that a long time ago.
Yeah, same. All right. Well, we just rock, man. Maybe it's just something else.
All right, so for y'all listening in, y'all let us know how that audio sounds in the background. I don't want to be up here like Teddy all night, but I do want to get that addressed because there's going to be a lot of talking in this one. There's going to be a lot of grown man walks in this episode, right? A lot of things I want y'all to take away from this. And if you can't hear it correctly, we need to fix that for you. So definitely let us know. We're live on Facebook. Just like I said, it's our first time, so we can see what you're saying. We're gonna bring y'all comments into the show as well. So let us know how that's working for you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ant.
No. So the most recent update that's been provided that the officer in question has in fact been arrested and charged with I believe it's third degree and
third degree.
And I haven't looked into what third degree means in Minneapolis, but it doesn't sound like it's
severe enough.
Yeah, it don't sound like it's enough. But yes, he has been arrested. He's off the street. So now we just wait to see what's next within that situation. I mean, I have my doubts, but this is one of those situations where they'd be fools to get this one wrong.
The guy was here. I'm sorry.
I could say that about a slew of other situations,
right?
But this one just seems. I don't know.
They brought one guy in.
Yeah,
but
they brought one guy in. Let's be clear. They brought one guy in. There were four.
But there's four, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see why everyone is in charge right now.
Yeah.
That's what's getting me. If that was me, you, Chuck, Maine out there, and we did that to someone, we're all going in.
Yeah.
No matter
that day.
Oh, no, four black officers? Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What do you guys think about, what do you guys feel about what's going on out there, like just from the people's standpoint? As far as like burning the city down and all that type of stuff.
One of the things I've always said about looting and people expressing their frustration in these manners, I've always said I'm all for it, right? I'll throw the first chair with you. I'll throw the first trash can with you. The key is, let's take that shit to their crib. Let's take that shit to their neighborhood. Let's take that shit to their community. You take the shit to where you go buy your milk every Tuesday. Take it to where they buy their milk every Tuesday. Because that's how they're going to feel. That's how they're going to understand that this is a real event, that this is a real situation that minorities are going through every fucking day. Right? So if you do it in your neighborhood, guess what it turns into? It turns into reality TV, where they can turn the shit off and go to bed at night. You see what I'm saying? We don't want to be turned off. Don't turn me off. I'm at your door. You ain't gonna turn me off on this shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, this needs to be real life. And until we make it real life for them, we're just niggas on TV acting stupid again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. But I'm one of those people that, you know, if you hit me, I'm hitting you. I'm not gonna hit you, man. I'm hitting you. I think I put a post up that just went crazy because people were trying to figure out what I meant by this is not the way. I think it was one of the department stores being burnt down. And like I don't mind, you know, you destroying something, but again, I want to come right to the source. I want to be, you know, I want to destroy what caused all this. Something in my area or something that I use just because it's white owned, you know, that doesn't really make too much sense to me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I just think, like, in the moment, people are just reacting, and
see, that's the thing.
They're not thinking it clearly through of what they're doing. They're just reacting to what's going on because at some point, you know, you gotta feel like enough's enough. Like, when do you just keep taking it and just not, you know what I'm saying, like hitting back? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you know, it's tough to keep talking a person off the ledge when they've constantly been pushed. You know what I mean? It's tough to. And so, like, the people right now, again, I'm not for looting, but it's like, you know, those riots that happened, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, back in the days, it's like, you know, people, it's just enough, man. Saying, like, you haven't even recovered over from one situation, which is the young man, I believe in Georgia, that was killed while he just running, you know, jogging by two white people who suspected he was someone else. You're not even recovering from that for you're dealing with something else. You know what I mean? Like, people are just tired of feeling like, yo, we're targets, and like, to not do nothing. You know what I mean? And it's just gonna come to a point where, you know, not condoning or not saying it, but it's gonna come to an eye for an eye type of thing.
Man, let me jump in.
Yep.
That's something that makes me tight about the entire situation, right?
Yep.
So, if y'all missed what my brother just said, he said, at some point it's going to become, right? This is 2020.
Right.
This shit been going on many moons.
Right. That's a fact.
At some point should have been happened. You see what I'm saying? And listen, I don't want to ever be confused. I'm not one of these guys. So I tell my brothers all the time offline, I say, there's two different types of black people, right? There's the black people who passionately felt, understood, followed Martin Luther King, right? Where they wanted a melting pot. They wanted everybody to be equal. They wanted blacks and whites and all of us to live in harmony and sing legendary R&B. That's what they wanted, right? That's that sect of people. And then there's a separate sect of people who felt passionately, understood, respected, would have followed Malcolm X at a certain time in his life. Right. He said, you know something? I don't need my oppressor to be active in my life. I can be successful without including them.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying? Yep. And so until we as a people understand which path we can afford, which path we can follow, which path is going to bring a result, we're never going to be a unified black people. It's common sense, because you're going to have butting the heads of the ideology, right? So until we can get an understanding of that, we're not going anywhere. Here's the problem. The peaceful sitting at the diner getting hosed down, those people are still following that ideology right now. Still following that ideology. Because A, it's this symbol of peace and it's so legendary, and one of these days is going to work, right? But B, and I hate to say this. No, I don't. I don't hate to say it. B, it's what white people want you to say. White people want you to be nonviolent. Because guess what? It don't fuck with them, right? As long as you nonviolent, we'll sit here quietly as a protest. They can go about their business and do exactly the same shit they've been doing 300 years.
Yeah.
This is why they were so scared of Malcolm X. Because they knew they were like, hold on. If this nigga get his way, what? Not even him, not even Malcolm X. Yes, but even the Black Panthers. If they got their way, wait a minute, they're not gonna stand for injustice.
Yeah.
They're not gonna sit here quiet. These niggas is walking down the streets with shotguns, looking for you to do something, looking for you to pull this same George shit. You pull that same George Floyd shit in front of the Panthers. They're unloading shotguns because you're doing something that's unlawful. And they didn't stand around watching with film, recording motherfuckers do things that's unlawful. We're missing that now. We're missing people who stood up when times was hard. I don't care about the people who want to write poems and hold signs when times are hard. We're missing the people, the generation of people who stood up and did something, took action when time was hard. So there's gonna come a man. You said the point. There's got to come a time when it's up for us right now to determine when that's going to happen.
Right. Yep. Right.
Agreed.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and it's slowly but surely it's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, unfortunately, like there may be some innocent police officer, you know, that something, you know, God willing, but you just.
But see, that's the thing. We've already been down that road. And this goes back to what Little's saying about the displaced anger or whatever it was. But I think you got to bring it to the door of those who are doing these injustices, like directly, because it sends a message.
Right.
You know why you got to bring it to their door? Because the justice system in this country won't. So for the people who are looking for, oh, they're gonna get their day, right? Those same people who say, oh, karma's gonna come, they don't understand our justice system in this country.
No.
Because if you understood our justice system in this country, you would understand that white people don't deal with the same repercussions or the same crimes that black people do. It's been proven over and over and over and over again. So if you're just not seeing those facts, that's your own ignorance. And ignorance is not a disrespectful word. It just means that you don't know. That's all it means, right? So it's just your own ignorance. If you refuse to understand that our systematic oppression, this justice system in this country will say, Ryan Kelly, you killed a man in first degree, you'll get 3 years. Charles Jones, you killed a man in first degree, you'll get life. That's our country. That's where we live. Understand that, and then we can move past that. But don't talk to me about karma. Don't talk to me about justice. That shit don't exist here. So you can't win at any game. You can't succeed at any game until you understand the rules of that game. Once you understand the rules of that game, now let's play. We've been here long enough to where we know the rules. You're either going to willfully ignore the rule, or you're going to follow them and try to beat them at their own game.
Yeah.
But, nailed it, man.
There's something I want to touch on. Because we're going in the whole back, fellas. We're going to use the whole shot clock on this one, I promise you.
Right. Go for it.
Because there's something that you touched on a moment ago, right? Where you said, you referenced the term, which I find to be an oxymoron, but you said innocent police officers, right? So, and actually, I'll take this as a question, and actually, I'll take it to the Facebook group also. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and we'll blend those back.
Yeah.
Sammy, I'm gonna start with you. You wrap it to main, you bring it to high tower, and we'll wrap it around in a circle. Is there such thing as an innocent police officer in today's culture?
Is there such thing as an innocent police officer?
Correct.
I believe so. There are good cops out here. There are good cops out here. I don't know where to go with it. I mean, but I do believe there are good cops out here. I don't know why, you know, a lot of cops are kind of falling behind and not seeing what their fellow brothers are actually out here doing and stepping up. I mean, I kind of do know, you know, but I do believe there are good cops. I do believe that. What do you feel, man?
No, I agree 100%. That's why, you know, I used that word earlier, because, you know, I believe like we all know good cops. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so all cops aren't like this. I mean, again, I can't speak for everybody, but I do know some good cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just say that, like, I would feel a way if I was like, damn, if somebody killed like a good cop that I knew because he was just a cop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just because, yo, it's an eye for an eye, and this is just, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have some person out here that will look to become famous, God forbid, off of taking a life of an officer who probably did nothing about, or did nothing to this magnitude, did nothing like the officer in Minneapolis did. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I say innocent. So yeah, I would feel a way if an innocent cop that, you know what I'm saying, like, that had nothing to do with that died, like, they still got to go home to his family. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you fix that problem to dissect, you know what I'm saying, like, and how, you know, that's reprimanded. But yeah, if something happened to an innocent cop who you knew was a good cop, yeah, I would feel a way about that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, playing devil's advocate, I would understand the mindset, because it's not about that person. It's just about what's been going on. And yo, I'm just feeling like there's nothing left for me to do because my justice system will let me down. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing that could be done. So you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice myself for my people. You know what I'm saying? And take it into my own hands. And yo, let them see what that feels like. Let them get that pain of what that feels like to see their loved one being taken out in that way. Maybe it won't play out on TV like what's going on with us, but just still, you know what I mean? So that's all. But yeah, I mean, that's just how I feel about the innocent cop thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want nothing to happen or something, but playing devil's advocate, I could understand. So, hype.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you a little bit. And like, I don't want to paint the broad brush over, you know, the men and women who are actually doing and following, you know, the job description that they signed up for, you know, protect and serve. I know more good cops than I know bad ones. Bad ones I don't know unless I see or hear about them on television. There's some guys I know personally that are speaking out against this. But in a word, I mean, yeah, like, you don't want to, you know, cast that net and group all these guys into, you know, the guilty bucket, because then you run the risk of, like Maine said, you know, endangering guys who are actually out there for us and taking care of situations. But, you know, back to my earlier point, man, you have to have that focused rage, where if, you know, you come across, you know, a situation you know, you have to, if that's what you're looking to do, you got to bring that anger to their door directly. And you can't just be picking and choosing who's out there. You got to go for the guys that are ones creating these infractions. But overall, I'd say, yeah.
So let me say this. Let me say this to you. And y'all know this. Everybody on Facebook knows this. Anybody with two eyes knows this, right? Charles Jones is a pretty good writer. Pretty good with the pen, right? And so, in the point of writing any story is to be able to identify the villain. In this story, I can easily identify the villain. The villain in all of these cases is the police officer, 100% of the time, right? Because there is never a case where someone in custody, that's what we're talking about here, make sure we're clear. We're talking about a case where someone is in custody. You got the motherfucker already in cuffs, already subdued, already submitted to the situation. 100% of the time, these cops are killing these people. So I can tell you that I see who the villain is. The villain is a cop, right? Now, my question was, are all cops in the same bucket? Yes. So we talk about families back in the day, right? And we talk about, as an example, let's just use like a molestation case. And pardon me, y'all, I told you this episode is going to be pretty heavy. Y'all rock with me. So we talk about molestation cases in the family, right? Where that uncle in the back room is doing all kind of crazy shit to the child in the home. And the parents don't do a motherfucking thing. The parents say, oh, stay away from him. Oh, don't go by that door. Or, oh, he's drunk. There's a million excuses as to why you should pardon the villain. I don't believe in that. I'm telling you, dudes, that if these cops that y'all talk about, that y'all know personally, were so stand up, why are they not in these other cops' faces? Why are they like, don't impress me on social media. Oh, I think that this is an injustice. I hope that our police get the fuck out of here. You go talk to them dudes one-on-one. You know that motherfucker's a racist when you at the office. You ain't surprised. Nobody on the force with that officer that killed George Floyd, nobody was surprised that this dude turns out to be at least suspect in his racial motivation. Nobody's surprised by that. You got somebody at your job right now, you be like, yeah, that motherfucker's probably racist, but you know who he is. But because of this boys in blue code of silence bullshit, that not only is it bullshit, right? But it governs people. It governs a citizenship. You understand what I'm saying? So we have a code of silence, partially like the Illuminati, if you believe in it. We have a code of silence who has been given jurisdiction or power over the citizens of a country. These motherfuckers make their own rules. When they get back to the office, on every cop show you've ever seen, we've witnessed them say, okay, we'll cover it up. We don't want to bring shame on the department. We don't want to sully the badge. So you can't sit here and tell me that these same motherfuckers that y'all know personally, that y'all respect, and they honorable, and they doing all this in the hood, and they so great. Why can't they stop this shit in-house before it leads to the next murder? If they so reputable, stand your punk ass up and go talk to that dude. Say, hey, listen, man, be easy. Or go higher than him. Say, hey, Commander, we're in the hood. We're trying to get things right. We're trying to build a rapport with the people there, because that's how you fix any problem, is you build, the police need to build a rapport with the people in that hood. Clearly these cops ain't doing that. Clearly they out here running amok, running rampant on their own causes. And when they get back home, They cover it up. We talk about it in the news for 3 days, and this shit's over again. You dig? So you can't sell me that these cops are so great. You will never get me to believe that. Fuck them bozos, man. Until you do something otherwise, and the key part of that was do something otherwise, get you and that boys in blue badge and uniform the fuck out of here. Because you're not helping my people. At least at the very worst, you're supposed to be able to protect and serve. That's their job duty. At the very least, protect and serve. They're not even doing that. They're not protecting me. They're not serving me. What are we talking about here? So if you can start with the basics of the job description, I'd be fine. Let's start there. No, there's no such thing as an innocent cop, because innocent means you had nothing to do with it. Sammy, you were right earlier. There were 4 cops in the picture. 3 of them was on top of George, right? One of them was there on crowd control. Hey, stand back. Nothing to see here. We got it under control. He's just as guilty as the motherfuckers. Because you could have went over there and said, hey, look, take the knee off him, bro. You got the cuffs on him. Let's put him in the back of the car. Let's get him downtown. We'll deal with it down there. He didn't say shit. Hey, stand back. Here's the yellow tape. Be careful. Don't impede on our progress. Get you the fuck out of here. So no, there's no such thing as in the car. Do your job. We wouldn't have these conversations every 3 months. Period.
Okay.
I mean, man, I'm passionate about this, B.
Church.
No, you're right. Things won't change until, people call out their own people, whether that's cops, whether that's white people. Things won't change unless that happens. No, you're definitely right. Definitely right on that.
Question, where does voting place in all of this? Does any of that matters as far as local, any of that type of politics? Does that matter in this?
Yeah. These are the local elections where you may be voting in a sheriff, or you may be voting in a DA, or it's definitely local.
Right, councilmen, state reps.
Yeah, because they all have to kind of approve some of these low-level local, laws. I think that happens first, because every state and town operate differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's something I'm gonna bring up later too when we talk about solutions. We're gonna touch on that a little bit more too in terms of politicians and how they play a role in this kind of stuff. I want to address that also.
Okay.
All right. Before we move off, we discussed offline a question my wife brought up. You were standing there as this was going on, as George was being pinned down and the guy was on his neck and saying he can't breathe and all this other stuff. Would you have stood there and recorded, or would you have tried to alleviate the situation and get this this officer off the guy's neck?
Yeah, I'll start off with that. Because me and her went back and forth on it. And there's no wrong person, I don't think. Or we had a difference in opinion. She said that, and I respect it, that she's going home. She has to, she has to make sure that she gets home to her family. And, I understand that. I was a little bit on the other side of things, where after I've seen them cuff him and I see this getting more serious, I don't think I can sit there and, continue recording. I have to jump in. There's no, whether I'm going to jail or whatever, I have to jump in. Because, if that was my son on the ground, my daughter on the ground, I would want someone to not only just be videotaping. I want them to help him out. I want them to help her out. You know, that's just the way I'm going with this. Man.
I'm on the fence with this one. Because of the severity of situations, I make a jump, these guys pull out their gun and shoot me and kill me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what me jumping in, what is that gonna do besides me going to jail or me dying? And at that moment, the only scenario that will call for me to jump in, it would have to be a family member. I can't say I'm just gonna do it for a random person. I mean, I'm not recording anything. I mean, maybe for the situation or how it is, but I can't see myself jumping in. That's just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, because for the same reasons that, you know, when Casey talked about, you know what I'm saying too. Again, it will have to be a family member of mine for me till I'm saying I'm gonna die. Like, you know what I mean? Because if I shoot or whatever, if I jump out, they shoot, whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not sure about that. So, yeah, I'm on the fence.
This is a conversation we've had, her and I, you know, a few times, and I'm on the other side. Maybe in this particular situation, I would probably not, because clearly I'm outnumbered. But if the situation presents itself as such where I can help or save someone, I feel like it's my duty to do so. And like, we really don't know until we're in the situation.
Right.
In my mind, I feel like I had to do something, and recording isn't really doing anything, especially if there's several of us out there already recording. You know, you can intervene without, you know, getting physical. You can intervene without, you know, I don't know. I just, in my mind, it's not 50-50. It's kind of 70-30, where I feel like I should get involved and do something. But again, you know, I'm assessing the situation. And if it's a situation where I feel I can, I probably would.
You said the numbers game. You feel outnumbered. Now, a lot of these crimes where people are outside filming, there's twice, maybe 3 times the civilians around that are sitting here recording these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, there's 3 guys on this one guy, and 1 guy standing crowd control. 1 guy is actually holding 15 other guys back. You trying to tell me that we couldn't sit there and figure out a way to kind of, you know, calm this down, where now those 3 guys that are on him have to now get up and pay attention to the different areas.
Yeah.
Because now they're surrounded. Now they're not knowing what to do, and now they want to hurry up and they want to get the fuck out of here.
They'll have guns on them too, though.
Well, let me chime in real quick. Because there was a case in the early 70s. I want to say like 72, 73, like that, in Marin County on the west coast of California. And the Marin County Police Department had pulled over a brother for quote unquote speeding, right? It was later found out that he wasn't speeding at all. They just had, you know, but that's so they had pulled him over, pulled him out the car, right? Pulled him out the car, was beating him with nightsticks and shit. Someone had the wherewithal. Now you have to understand the importance of Marin County in the 60s and 70s, right? So Marin was the bed of the Black Panther Party, right? So somebody had the wherewithal to call their local district, call their local group of black men, say, hey, yo, there's some crazy shit going on down here. These cops out here fucking with this dude. Panthers pulled up in 5 minutes with shotguns. Like, hey, what crime did he commit? If you can't tell us the crime, let him go. Same thing that Sammy brought up, which is why it popped into my head. Panthers came with 5 cars, 20 motherfuckers with shotguns. There was 3 cops on the case, right? Cops seen the motherfuckers pull up with the shotguns and the Black Panther Party just around them. And they came and said, hey, listen, we're here representing this man. Did he break a law? What crime did he commit? If he did commit that crime, okay, let's ensure that he gets to the police station safely and goes through just process. This ain't gonna be out in the street beating his ass. Right. That's not how this works. Right. So when you tell me that, yeah, we saw there's 4 cops in this motherfucker. We saw 55 people out that bitch with androids, right? They don't take the shotguns. That was nice that the Panthers had them. They didn't take the shotguns. It took a group of people saying, yo, put pressure on these motherfuckers. You're not doing what's right. You're not doing what's lawful. Your job is to enforce the law. Your job is to enforce the law in a way so that people aren't injured in that process. So a closed mouth ain't gonna help that motherfucker on the ground. Of course you have to go over there and step in and help him out. Only in today's world, well, only in this example of police versus citizens is that becoming a life-threatening situation. Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should just be, hey, listen, why aren't you taking him downtown if he committed a crime? Why you got your knee on his neck for 9 motherfucking minutes? Put him in the back of the car. What are we doing? 9 minutes, Sammy. 3 of those minutes, he was unresponsive. What are we talking about right now? And y'all want to stand around with phones. Oh, look, let me check my Zoom. Get you the fuck out of here. Somebody got to stand up for black people.
I have a question.
It should be black people.
Now, we have this thing called citizens arrest, right? Is that valid just towards us, or can that also be towards officers and anyone of the law?
So first off, and I'll be quick, I promise you. And yo, anybody watching? Y'all, come on, man. Y'all Sparring Minds, y'all with us, man. Y'all know I get passionate out here, B. So pardon me. But so first off, be easy, Chuck. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna be easy on this. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, man. You go first. Go ahead, man. Citizens arrest.
I don't know if can you make those or only some of the movies. I don't know if that's real or not. Citizen arrest. You asked me what I make. You asked me would I make one if I could.
Well, I mean, if it's a such thing as citizens arrest, where I can arrest you, why can't I arrest a police officer if I see that they're going beyond their job?
I mean, yeah.
That's an interesting question. I mean, we'd have to get familiar with the laws to know
right.
what's what. I don't think that's relevant everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. In the Commonwealth, I don't know what that's like in the Commonwealth. You know what I mean? Keeping that buck.
I mean, that kind of brings us into a mod if you guys want to move to that. But
hold on. I got to speak on that citizens arrest shit. Bro.
Go ahead.
We just ain't gonna jump off without letting something.
No. It wasn't a jump off. It wasn't a jump off. But that was the premise.
Fuck out of here.
It's not a jump off, but that was the premise of. That was the premise of Ahmad getting himself in that unnecessary situation. And let me rephrase that. He didn't get himself in that situation. Those dudes went out of their way to put him in that situation.
Well, give the whole backstory so we can talk about it.
Well, finish your point and then we'll move on.
there's no such thing as, so you're talking about citizens arrest, Sammy. There's no
Yes.
such thing as citizens arrest when the person being arrested is white. That's never going to work in this country. You see what I'm saying? Citizens, we saw, like Ed's about to bring up, where that might work with black people being the bad guy, black people being the villain, because the justice system, the police department, is more likely to believe that we were a villain. You see what I'm saying? And that the white victim here is just calling for justice. You know what I mean? And so a black man who could be walking down the street, like Ant's about to get into, is automatically, because of his skin color, deemed a villain. And then as such, citizens arrests, which is a real thing, especially in some counties in the South, it's a real thing. You know, it's something that's seen as common, or at least acceptable.
Okay. I want to find out if that's legal in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Well, Mass has its own different rules. They play by a different.
Right.
Yeah, Massachusetts on some bullshit.
Yeah, but in the South, that's prevalent. But you can understand why in the South. You see what I'm saying? You can understand why.
Absolutely.
I don't gotta break that down. So yeah, I mean.
Jesus.
All right, pardon me, Ann. Go ahead. What we get into?
So as Little brought up the citizens arrest question, it reminded me of Ahmaud Arbery down in Atlanta. For those who aren't familiar with the story, a young black man who was gunned down by a father and son for nothing. He's out here doing his run. Apparently, according to this father and son, you know, there's been a series of break-ins in the area and all this other nonsense. But they approached him to make a citizen's arrest, allegedly. And Ahmaud, like anyone, is gonna, you know, resist in that situation because, you know, who is you? And, you know, what gives you the right to come and approach me about some bullshit, right? So apparently that went on, scuffle ensued, and he was shot. But yeah, that citizen arrest question is what brought me back to Ahmaud. Rest in peace to him, condolences to his family. But yeah, we got to talk about that one too, man, because that was another one.
You feel like you ain't recovered from that one before this stuff happens. I'm sorry, Jones, go ahead, bro.
No, you're right, King, and I wasn't going to be long. I wasn't going to be passionate about this. You know, this is the case where a dude minding his own business. This is Anthony Hightower aside with his daughter. This is Jermaine McNeil out on the block with his girl wrist. This is Sammy Little on, you know, down the grocery store with his dad. This is Charles Jones out, you know, poolside with his wife.
Big flex.
It's just shit that happens to a regular black man, because it could happen to any one of us because some white person deems so. White people in this country have been given a certain privilege where they are now authorities on who's wrong and who's right. They're authorities on who's breaking the law versus who's not. We laughed for a year about that bitch in the park that called the cops, right? White people in this country feel as though they are authority figures and that they're like, wait a minute. Hey, little nigga, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's the country. This president has empowered them. I'm going to talk about his ass later. The politicians have empowered these people. So all the, you know, in the 90s and the early 2000s, when it wasn't cool to talk about racism and, you know, these motherfuckers was quiet, right? But now when you have a president like this, now these racists are getting a little bit out of pocket. Now they feel empowered to do some shit because they know their president got their back. You see what I'm saying? So part again, I didn't mean to jump off, but that's what this is. This is a case where, unlike the police brutality here, this is a case where white citizens feel like they're decision makers now. And that leads to, again, what is that going to lead to? The death of African Americans.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to stunt y'all. Pardon me, man. Go ahead, do your thing. I'm
The update on that is that the three guys, and I say three guys, the father, the son, and the dude who was recording all of this as it went down. The three of those guys have been charged and or I guess awaiting trial or whatever, but that's another one we got to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
So again, condolences to his family. You want to take it up north, Central Park? What's up?
What's the broad's name? Amy something?
Amy Cooper. Or Karen, as they call him these days, right?
Jesus.
So give me the background of the story, please.
So there's a brother by the name of Christian Cooper. He is what they call a birder. And what that is he goes into these, these habitats, and he's just checking out birds and taking flicks and documenting it and all this other stuff. In Central Park, New York, there's an area of the park where these birds are living. They inhabit. And he's there just to check them out. Also in this area is this white woman named Amy Cooper, who is walking her dog. Now, she's not in the wrong to be there walking her dog, but she is in the wrong to be there walking her dog if the dog is unleashed. And in this case, she was walking her dog unleashed. So now, if you think back to the Ahmaud situation where the white guy walked up to the black guy and said, "Hey, you're doing something wrong. Let me holler at you for a second." This is the exact opposite, where now a black man is approaching the white woman and saying, "Hey, you're doing something wrong." Her response should have been, "You know what? Sorry, I'm new to the area, blah, blah, blah. Let me leash my dog." Problem solved, right? No. I'm trying not to cuss the crew, but this chick decides, instead of just complying and leashing her dog, because there's signs up that says, "Can't be in here with your dog unleashed."
Mm-hmm.
She decides to call the cops and make up a story about being threatened by the same black man just so that she could have her dog in the park unleashed. She put on the sob story. You can hear her voice change. She went through all emotions to use the cops, to weaponize the cops to kill this guy. Now, I say that because we know what happens when cops get killed, not killed. We know what happens when cops get called into situations that involve black men. And we know that as black men. She knew that as a white woman. And she used that against him and even threatened him on camera saying, "I'm gonna call the cops and tell them you're threatening me." So that's what she proceeded to do. Thoughts?
Real quick, one sentence, I promise. I'm gonna let y'all go. White women are the most protected species in the country. Period.
I agree.
She was hoping for a George Floyd type of situation. She was hoping for something you know, crazy to that effect. Just disgusting, man. I mean, she should be locked, charged. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's funny. I was having a conversation with a coworker today about this. Like, well, should someone go to jail like a situation like that or falsifying? I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, what should she get? A slap on the wrist? Like, to just. I'm not sure what the charge could be, but whatever it is, she should get. Like, you know, it's. I don't know. You can't be doing that kind of stuff, making stuff up, just to get something to stick and to see something happen to somebody because, you know, you feel like, oh my God, why is this black man talking to me? Why is he saying something? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
What's funny? I'm not sure if this is a law in New York, but in certain areas there are laws where you actually get fined for, is it falsifying or is it wasting town resources?
Yeah.
These false calls or something to that effect. I mean, I would say in her situation, she got a slap on the wrist. All she did was lose her job.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I mean,
my coworker today was like, "Oh man, the shame of her losing her job." I'm like, "What the fuck is that? That ain't shit."
I have a question. For a crime like that, because it is a crime, I feel. What's the punishment? What's the punishment that we should be looking for?
There's got to be a registry. You see this similar to how they treat
sex
offenders, and there's got to be some sort of registry where they are notorious for
like fraud,
being a racist, straight up and down. This one, sex offender. This one, racist.
You're expecting a racist country
Something wrong with your head.
to put a law on the books to villainize racists. That's what we're doing today?
No. I mean, we know it's not going to happen.
We just said, what can you do? What would you do if you could do something?
Yeah.
You know, like this.
We know the chances of it. No.
There's nothing you can do, man. There's nothing you can do. There's no law you can put in place. There's no. You know what's funny about this case here is that. Well, no. I was about to go again. No, nothing you can do.
Yo, we got all night, man. Go ahead.
I got time.
You know, I talked to you about what white women are, right? And Emmett Till, we can go back 70 years, brother, and talk about. I told you earlier in the show that it's important that you recognize who the villains are, right? And I'll be honest with you. From what I've seen in my lifetime, and in race stories such as these, if the cops aren't the villain, the white woman is. You see what I'm saying?
Remember Emmett Till?
That's what I just said. Emmett Till. So the problem is that, unfortunately, this is unfortunate. Unfortunately, black men choose to interact with white women, right? And then you're always subject to, oh my God, I was assaulted, right? We've heard of a number of athletes who've been, well, I'm not gonna bring up Kobe Bryant, but there's a lot of people who've just been involved with white. Listen, man, I'm pro black, and I think that anytime you get involved with other entities, especially endangered and protected entities such as white women, you're probably asking for trouble because they have the power card in their hand. They can pull it at the drop of a card. So, gotta protect yourself.
Kite?
I mean, what do you want me to say? I don't feel like she got what she deserved. I feel like something more needs to happen. I mean, it could be a good old-fashioned ass whooping. I don't know. Something got to go down where she's been, for her to do this so willingly, she understands her power in this world, and that's what's most frustrating.
Right.
For her to
Or
walk
scary.
around,
Or scary.
yeah, that's what I mean. But like, for her to walk around with that in her, I don't know, late 20s, mid 30s, late 30s, whatever age she is,
Yeah.
she's probably done that before, or she's probably thought of doing that before.
To a teacher at school.
To a teacher.
To whatever case, but whatever kind of authority figure she's always had in her life, she's played that card before. She knows when and how to use it.
Exactly.
Mm.
But kudos to that brother for filming everything, man. Because if someone were to tell you that, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, you would believe it, but you wouldn't believe it. And seeing that and seeing the thespian that she is, it really put into perspective who you're dealing with. When I saw that, I immediately thought of my work environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're buddy with everybody during the hours of 9 to 5, but if shit hit the fan, who's pulling that card out? You know what I mean? And I look around the office, and there's only a handful of us. So it's like, if shit hit the fan, who's in my corner, who's not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that? Like old Charles Jones, right? I was friends with everybody in the office. Like, hey Johnny, hey Ryan, how's it going? Like, come by my house for a beer. I was that guy, right? But I think what I've come to realize is I need to do a better job of separating people's ideologies, right? And at the workspace, I don't know your ideology. That's just the truth, right? I don't know you well enough to know your ideology. I don't know you well enough to know if you got a fucking noose hanging in your backyard. I don't know that. So either I'm going to take the dangerous path of trying to learn that, because that path is dangerous, or I could play it safe and stay with people of my own ideology. It's just safer for me that way. It's just safer, right? Like, I'm sure y'all know amazing white people, and you know, there's people that you would literally call a friend. I don't know, like people I work with, 9 to 5. You dig? Like, and then I go and I chit chat with people who share the same ideology as me. I don't know what else to do. There's no other solutions besides that. And that's going to go into a solution report I want to bring into the show a little bit later on. In terms of what we're going to do moving forward. What can we do? But, you know, I don't know.
So then let's wrap around the room. Have you been in a situation where it was your word against theirs, and theirs being a white counterpart or whatever? Because let's be honest here. We're all token Black folks in our place of work, right?
I don't know if I am anymore. Like I said, I used to be. I don't think I am anymore. I've never been in that situation where it's like me versus a white guy saying something that happened from different standpoints. I've never been in that situation. So I'm quite interested to hear what Sammy and May say.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever been in that situation before either.
And the reason I bring it up is
not with a white guy, at least.
yeah, the reason I bring it up is I haven't been in the situation myself, but I've seen folks switch up.
Yeah,
When
I can say
someone's no longer in the room. You see what I mean? And you know, you think everything is on the up and up when we're all together, and as soon as I don't know, you can say the higher ups, senior management or whatever, they leave the room, and now the discussion and the dialogue is switched. You know what I mean? So now it's like you have a side eye to those people, because now it's like, all right, well, what are you saying and doing when I come and go?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And I've witnessed this a few times, and as a result, I've kind of changed how I move at work a little bit. And I wasn't always, you know, buddy. I was always the guy that was, you know, respected, you know, reliable, all of this stuff. You know, I was a guy that lit up a room when I came around and whatever. But after I saw a couple of things go down, I'm like, I got to move different.
Yeah.
To this day.
And you know what's interesting about that? Like, that's not something that white people would never really understand. They wouldn't understand that story that we have to live on a daily basis, where there's a change in how people move, and we have to adapt to that. Whereas normally the situation adapts to them, we have to adapt to situations. No, I can't. You know, thankfully, I can say I haven't been through that, but again, obviously it's not a good thing, especially in the workplace.
Right. Little, go ahead, man. What's up?
No, I've never been in that situation. I mean, I've been in my job for a long time. No, I've never been put in that situation, so I can't even call it. I've probably seen things like that, but
yeah.
Let me if we got a second here, and I want to go back to Minnesota. I want to touch on something real quick. One thing that we didn't talk about earlier in this conversation was the arrest of some of the media coverage from CNN team, right? So I guess what happened in this case was there was a Mexican reporter by the name of Omar Jimenez.
Yeah.
He and his team were arrested for, I don't know what they were arrested for, but obviously it's something to do with them being too close to the scene, that nature, not complying, etc. And so Oscar showed his media badge. Hey, I'm with CNN. Got a big ass mic, got a big ass camera. You know, the whole works. And they still took him. They locked him up, took him back down. But 30 yards away was a white reporter, same company, worked for CNN, I believe it was. His name was Josh Campbell, right? And the cops came to him and said, hey, you're in an area you can't be in. He said, oh, here's my badge. I'm sorry, let me move. Exact same thing Omar said, right? They said, all right, you can go ahead and take off, don't worry about it. So what we're seeing in Minnesota is not only, we're seeing just two examples in the same event about systematic miscarriages. You see what I'm saying? Whereas the police they're not doing this thing right. And that's the nicest way I can say it. Like, I don't know what reason they can give for arresting a Mexican guy and not the white guy, and the exact same thing, doing the exact same offense, quote unquote.
We know what it is.
We definitely know what it is.
So that we can't be confused about anything that's going on in Minnesota.
Nah.
I mean, the one silver lining, if you want to call it one, is
hell on earth out there.
The response by the mayor and the governor as this situation was unfolding. They were pretty swift in saying that this officer should be fired and charged. And they, like the rest of us, were just waiting for that to happen. I can't think of another situation where local leadership was so outspoken in these situations. If you think about all the situations that we've had to experience, whether personally or just from a distance, I don't recall too many mayors and governors speaking out on things going on in their city in support of these victims.
I would hope that you're not going to sit here and try to paint the mayor and the governor as heroes in this story.
Not at all. I'm just saying that is the silver lining in this. Is that there are people out there who we mentioned earlier that, you know, actually are looking for the right in things. Some call them allies. Some just call them people who understand what's right and what's wrong.
Right. At some point, it's just the right thing to do. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, it's definitely the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
The point in me saying that is there haven't been many people who have been on that side.
You know what we call people who do the right thing after the fact? They're opportunists. You dig? So they're like, wait a minute, the lights are on, right? And when the lights are on, you look better saying, hey, this was an injustice. Let me step in.
Interesting.
Do that shit beforehand. You know, like I said earlier, you knew that police department needed some work. Nobody was surprised. Look at your arrest records. Look at the percentages of minorities who are arrested on basic crimes versus whites. You know there's some work to be done. You waited till the light came out. You waited till all the media crews showed up and then said, no, this is an injustice and we won't stand for this. This man should be fired immediately. Because as a mayor or a governor, votes are on the line.
Yeah, definitely that. I mean, it's national news. It's a news story. It's on video. Like, it's out there for people to see. So yeah, it's a bigger jacket. I mean, like, they're gonna speak on it, and it's like, but you know, election years, all that stuff coming up. You're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? But again, this was played out on TV. Like, you saw the video. Like, I haven't watched the video, but just it's out there for people to see. So it's just a different level. So of course it's gonna be looked at different. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's on TikTok. Like, it's crazy. Kids can see this, you know what I'm saying, on their social media. Like, young kids, it's crazy.
Man, you there? You froze.
Yeah. Heavy, huh?
Oh, you're back. I thought you froze.
Okay, my fault. Yeah.
Yeah, you good.
I have a question. We taking any of these questions that are being asked
Let's take them,
right
man.
now?
Let's take
Someone's taking.
We got some?
Yeah.
We got a few. I happen to just browse and check out a few. There's a few questions up there. I gotta try to get back to them.
I mean, I know we want to give time for folks to ask questions. So yeah, if you don't got anything else.
When do we want to get into that?
We can do it.
I mean, we got time to keep going, but you know.
And matter of fact, real quick, we appreciate y'all joining us, man. Like I said, This is a heavy episode. It's one, you know, we're not doing a whole bunch of laughing. We would like to, but this is one of our more serious episodes. We really hope that we're giving y'all something to at least think about. And then obviously we want to take y'all some feedback from y'all, and you know, just let's brainstorm, man. Let's try to find some way to really get a better understanding of what's happening to us as a people, what's happening to us as a country, right? It's not necessarily about the people, it's a country that's being really put in bad light here. And so ways if there's resolutions, which we'll get into, let's hash those out. Let's talk about that. Let's see what we can do that way. So yeah, Sam, if you got some questions, man, let's blend that in.
Okay. When I get to them, I can grab them. I can pick some out. But if you guys can find them before I can, not a problem.
I haven't gone through it yet, but I'll tell you what we could do. Let me bring up a question. That's probably going to take the meat of our conversation here. In terms of a solution. Let me propose a solution to you, and then you guys tell me if that's something you'd be willing to do. How's that work?
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, and again, everybody online, y'all keep that same energy. So I'm gonna propose this solution, and then y'all hit us in that chat box and say, "Nah, Chuck, get you the fuck out of here." Or you can say, "Yo, that's a dope idea. You know, how do I sign up?" So I think that let's move on with that.
All right.
And what I will propose is this, because I think we're living in a country where we understand that the way the judicial system is built is not necessarily designed for us. We understand that we find ourselves in trouble, my opinion, find ourselves in trouble the more we interact with other segments of people. So my proposition would be for Black people to take their families and move their family to the state of Detroit. We'll use Detroit as our example for that. Right? All of us are going to move our families to Michigan. Duh, Charles.
I didn't want to say nothing.
Somebody was going to. We moved to Michigan, right? And so in that effort, we build, we develop, we cultivate our own community. We have our own home developers. We have our own One United Bank. We have our own everything that we can help develop, build up, without the fear of having the cops called on us in the park by a white woman because she's scared. We don't have the fear. And in this own community, we have our own police department, right? With Black officers, right? And Black officers are more likely to develop a rapport with the Black community. So now you don't have officers going to Codman Square saying, "Oh, I feared for my life," and shot 3 kids. You don't have that because they know Codman Square. They know their family there. They're the representative of that community. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to do here is get us in an isolated community where a lot of the ills we face, we don't have to face anymore. Like segregation, that's the word here, right? Segregation in its core is a good idea. So long as you attach the equal, right? Equal resources. As long as you have the equal resources, segregation could be a valuable tool for Black people, right? I mean, outside of that, we're going to continue to be oppressed by sharing neighborhoods, sharing communities with people who don't seem to want us there. Let's just say it. Let's just be honest. Let's just be frank, right? If you don't want us there, okay, whatever. Fuck you. We'll go develop our own thing. We saw it work successfully with Black Wall Street down in Oklahoma. It worked successfully. Black Wall Street was legendary. Dry cleaners, banks, home builders. They had everything barbershops. They had everything you need. All the Black people were working. But guess what? This was during the Great Depression, when the neighboring white neighborhoods weren't doing so great. So they came in, got jealous, and burned the bitch down. You see what I'm saying? So there's precedent for this idea to work. There's precedent for us to say, you know what, man? If you don't want us, we'll go develop our own thing and stop being hunted in our own hood. We can go develop our own shit. Sammy. would you get your family and move to Michigan?
No, that whole, I mean, it sounds good, but that's only going to cause war. That's going to cause a lot of conflict. That's going to cause a lot more bullshit. So I'm isolated in Detroit, you said, right? Okay, so I'm isolated in Michigan. So what if I want to go to Massachusetts? What if I want to, you know, like,
What?
now,
What?
maybe the job I have is better than, I mean, that the offer I have over here is better than the one I have in Detroit. Maybe I just like it better over there. Like, I just think that's going to cause a civil war. I just think, you know.
You don't think we're already in a civil war? We're just unarmed.
It's more.
We're just unarmed, brother. That's the only difference.
Nah, asking for too much trouble. Asking for trouble with that. Too much with that. How you feel, man?
Jones, let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
Does black on black crime exist?
Yes.
Okay. So
can you ask me the follow-up question? There's a follow-up question there.
What's the follow-up question?
Why does black on black crime exist?
Yeah.
Systematic oppression. How can I avoid systematic oppression?
How can you tell me? How can you avoid it?
Live with all black people. Have our own rules so that we're no longer being oppressed. Black on black crime happens because niggas in the street broke, hungry, trying to eat. Guess what? We build Michigan, you got a job. You don't gotta be hungry. You got a house. You don't gotta live in the projects no more. You don't gotta claim the block.
The views of Charles Jones do not represent the rest of us. I love this guy.
So we don't agree that okay, we about to go somewhere else. Yo, hold on, y'all. Anybody watching? Y'all pardon us. We about to have a real internal conversation. So y'all mind y'all business for a minute. Don't worry about this. All right. So are we about to act like systematic oppression is not what causes black on black crime? We're not about to do that, right? Let's get on the same page before we get back to
Are we saying it causes 100% of it? Like that's the only reason that black on black crime happens is because of that.
It's in the 90%, brother.
No, give me a percentage, please. Give me a percentage. Yo, give me a percentage, please.
Real spit, I'm in the 90%.
Yeah, easy.
It's in the
Easy
90. Yeah, the other 10% might be some cheating baby mama who got niggas in the drama and now we got to go lay the hammer down. That's a whole different thing. 90% systematic oppression, B. And we can stop that. We actually have the choice to stop that. Because here's what I was going to say. Because somebody would say to me, yo, Charles, how can that be? How can you avoid the systematic oppression? You still live in the United States. You move to Detroit, right? You still move to Michigan. Well, the beauty of that is now we can elect our own government officials, right? So now we can get our own mayors and governors. Now we can get our own police commissioners, right? Who now?
We still got one president.
Correct. That's true. But everybody knows that your governor, even Trump complains about this. Your governor runs your state. We're all in the same state.
Yep.
You think? Hey, governor, we're having a problem with this. I live here too. I grew up here too. I'm part of that community. I'm vested in helping that. Let's get it fixed.
What about the mayor? Does the mayor matter?
He works under the governor. What's he gonna say? But again, guess who that mayor is? A black man elected by the community. And who's in the community? All the black people except for Sam.
Unfortunately,
you know, these black and white topics, you know, these don't always sit well with me. Everything's not always that.
The mayor from Detroit recently is a black guy who just went to jail. I think he's about to come home because of the COVID. He's on some Clay Davis type shit from the White.
See, and this again, you know, political corruption is a whole different kind of conversation. But I think the core of the idea works when you're trying to build a community of people for people and by those people. I think the core of the idea works. You know what I mean? So you would not. So man, let me make sure I understand this. You would not move to Michigan.
Yeah, I would.
Hightower?
Oh yeah, we there.
Moving to Michigan, definitely.
What are we talking about? And I picked Michigan in this exact example because it's probably the worst state to move to. You see what I'm saying? It's always cold up that motherfucker. You right next to Canada. Like, there ain't shit to do in Michigan. But if I would have said to you California, Florida, you'd be more willing to do it. So salute to y'all to be like, you know what? I can understand that there's going to need some building in this kind of process.
Right.
There might have to be some internal sacrifice. And there's no beach. Nigga, you're like, you know, there's no, I get it. But we have to be willing to do something drastic in order to find a solution.
Yeah.
And clearly us, listen, man, I think y'all all have different relationships. I see a guy on here named Joe Cacciatore.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm sure he's friends of y'all. Like, I'm sure y'all have white people in your life who are great guys who, you know.
Amazing guy.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Word, I don't doubt it at all. I'm just saying that I don't know how much, I think that we have to have our own resolution plan. That's all I'm thinking.
Okay, I get that.
While Joe is a legendary guy, he's on our side in the struggle, wants to learn how to help. There's an anti-Joe who's like, get black people the fuck out of my neighborhood. I'm gonna call the cops every time they have a barbecue. I'm gonna call the cops every time they come too close to me because I'm scared for my life. Okay, well, I get that too. And we have to understand the reality is the majority of this country, as it relates to white Americans, right, probably feel anti-Joe. So, salute to Joe. But the majority of white men in this country are probably the exact opposite of Joe. And since y'all don't want to turn into Black Panthers, right, because the Black Panthers can't get back on track, then this is the only other way to do it.
Detroit, let's go.
We in there.
And my decision in going to Detroit is not about me. It's about the legacy.
And that's the answer. That's the problem, though. That's the answer that we have to instill in guys like Sammy, because they're so entrenched with trying to be included with what they're doing that he don't see the benefit of enriching our own.
It's not about the benefit of seeing what I'm doing. It's about what I see also coming behind that. I don't see that really working. You know, it's a good thought. It could happen. I know we can build it. I mean, we have the tools. We can do all that. I just think, you know, us still being in the United States, that's going to cause a war. That's going to cause a problem.
Why?
Now you're telling people, certain people can't come over here. It's just going to cause an issue.
No. I'm not saying
nobody said that. Yeah, nobody said that.
You can come if you want to.
Come.
Just know that you're there, and while you're there spending your money is being held towards developing Black business.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
You know.
And the mentality of some white people, they're not. They would.
Oh no, they ain't about that life. And not only that, here's something else that's important. Let Karen go ahead and call the cops now. You go ahead and call the cops, Karen. You're gonna reach Jamal down at the station. And Jamal's gonna be like, Karen, get the fuck out of here. I'm not going down there for what? And hang up on Karen. Rather than them bringing 15 squad cars down and shooting niggas, now we have our own police department who's not gonna run for every phone call from Karen.
Maybe that phone call.
That's all I'm asking, brother. That's all I'm asking. Is that we get a fair shake at the stick. We don't get that, man. And you got to get that trying to be included in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I dig it.
You dig it, but you still want to stay in math.
I didn't say all that. I just said I don't see it working like that. I just don't see it working like that, man.
The thing about that is, it's like, if you establish an area in Detroit and people who didn't come on that initial ride see it and see it as possible, now you have a group of people doing that somewhere else. And before you know it, there's a safe haven in multiple places and not just Detroit. You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Is that a bad thing?
Not a bad thing at all. I'm speaking to Sammy specifically.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Definitely.
Because then all of a sudden, you got black people who feel safe in Michigan. Then, oh shit, they've got black people who feel safe in New Mexico. Guess what? Maybe you got 5 or 6 states where black people can feel comfortable.
Yep.
That's a good ass situation to be in, brother.
Absolutely.
As opposed to we're in any number of these 50-something states and nobody feels safe in any of them. I just want a safe haven. That's all I want. A place where I can raise my kid, they can go to school. I don't gotta watch the news till they get home. You dig what I'm saying? And if I know I got my police department that's behind me, and that's from my ilk, that's from my community, that's here to protect and serve my son, I can't ask for more.
Word.
Don't get me confused. If someone's breaking the law, if someone's doing things that are outside of the law, of course we follow the rules as laid out. I'm not against the law. I'm against when the law and its repercussions are divided by the color of your skin rather than the crime that you committed. You dig? So if we have our own community, we police ourselves. Nobody getting shot today over a speeding ticket. Nobody getting shot because they feared for their life. That's not how it works. Nobody's getting a knee punched in their neck for 9 fucking minutes. In the community I'm talking about, the cops know this motherfucker. Oh, that's drunk Larry. Take that nigga down to the house and let him get sobered up. You know what the situation is when you're from that community. Y'all can agree with that. When you're from the community, you know what the story is. There wouldn't be no kids outside 2 in the morning. Nah, nigga, I know your mother. Get your ass home. All I'm talking about is the people being for each other for a change, man. That's all.
Hey, Little, you got some questions ready for us?
That's what I'm trying to get into right as we speak. I can only get 6 questions. Well, actually, I can only get 1 question. We already went over that one. I don't know who Julia Johnson is. Everything else is on New York and stuff.
Well, listen, man. What are we getting? Like, this is 2 hours long, B. Like,
the crazy part is that we haven't even touched. I don't even know old girl's name. The crazy chick in Miami.
Oh my God.
Who at first made one attempt to try to kill her son, autism, 9 years old. And somebody was able to save him. And then the second time, she was able to get him somewhere where no one was around and pushed him in the water. Kid is autism, 9 years old. Mother kills him. And then tries to pin the crime, of course, on 2 black men. You know what I mean? Kind of like, not familiar you guys are with the Charles Stewart situation. But sounds like a female version of something like that right there. Just tragic. I mean, as a mom, I'm not just, how, man, you bring someone in the world and you take him out, part with him, like you couldn't deal with what he was, his autism or whatever he was going through. People are crazy, man.
You know, it's an age-old story, and all we're doing is writing remixes for it. You dig? Like, this is a case where white people, Ant mentioned it earlier, white people, many white people, some white people, whatever word you want to use in front of it, but they know what cards they can play. You dig? They know that they can say certain things and provide reasonable doubt to situations, right? Now, in all intents and purposes, this bitch is the villain in the story. But when the cops get there, she tells this story. The first thing in these cops' head is, man, maybe that's what happened. We got to investigate. Who's the likely villain? Black guy? Okay, cool. They've been playing this cards since white women was yelling rape in the 60s and 50s. You dig? Like, there's nothing new. There's nothing new. And what the terrible part about this is, he probably said, "Oh my God, he was 6 feet and his skin was chocolate and his eyes were brown." Nigga, that's all of us. So they grabbed Jamal and Tommy, who's walking to the video store down the street. Now they're doing 40 years based on a word of somebody who's, come on, man. Come on.
Let's wrap it around the room. Hi.
This is just more nonsense, man. Question is, would she have gotten charged if this didn't come out? And how did it come out anyway? Did she like admit to doing it herself? Or was it found that it was her? Like,
yeah, they started to just piece together like the holes in her story. Like there just happened to be too many of them. You know what I'm saying? Like way too many holes in her story.
She is charged or not charged?
I think she's charged.
She's charged. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this story.
This kind of fell under the radar.
Right, with everything that went on, it's like you forgot about it.
But fellas, it's not about the story. You see what I'm saying? It's not about the story. It's not about this woman killing her child.
Right.
Maybe it is at its core, but what we're missing here is the aspect that she felt it was okay to blame two black guys who wasn't even there. That's the part of the story that we have to be talking about.
Hold on a sec. Our guy Joe is saying that there was a video of her pushing her kid in the water.
Okay.
Somebody saw her do it, caught it, and that's how she got it.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate you, Joe.
Let's see. I guess Massachusetts does have citizens arrest.
I didn't hear you, Samuel. We get not here. I didn't hear what you said.
Who was that?
I didn't hear what you were saying. No.
No, I was looking and Massachusetts does have citizens arrest law on the books. A private person can make an arrest on someone who is committing a felony.
Get your LTCs, fellas.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do an episode about
Biggest
that.
thing.
Thank you,
I kind of
Julie.
feel a little bit differently about that. We'll talk about that on a future show.
All right.
I think sometimes you invite problems to your front door, depending on. We'll talk about it. Y'all stay tuned. We'll have an episode wrapped around that. But then, I mean, if nothing else on the docket, man, like I said, I've been passionate this whole time, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in too and kind of watching us go through this, man.
2 hours. Whew.
Yeah, this is an amazing opportunity for us. So we appreciate y'all being here. And
Definitely
like I said, I wish the topic could have been more fun, but if there's nothing else on the agenda, fellas.
More Fridays to come, man. More Friday nights lives to come.
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing this, y'all, but we ain't gonna be doing this for no
Friday
2 hours.
night lives to come. So,
You want to dispatch your bedtime height?
Yeah, I haven't even eaten dinner yet.
No. Yeah, Friday Night Lives. Friday Night Lives.
So yeah, and the key word there is live, yo. Like, so we want y'all feedback. We want y'all to interact with us, man. We want to make this an inclusive event. So, you know, we'll do this Friday. This is a weekly, right, Ed?
Yeah, we want this to be weekly, man.
Cool.
Yeah, we want this to be weekly, man. For every Friday at 7, come check us out. Yeah, let's just keep it going.
Sammy, you got a maritime for us, King?
Maritime, just 3 words. Black Lives Matter.
That's it.
You gonna take us out of here with a musical joint, bro?
Let's do it.
Yeah, for us, hi.
Peace and love, y'all.
Yo, we appreciate y'all, man.
peace and love.
Thank
Sparring
you very
Minds,
much,
baby.
everyone.
Yo, let that run, brother.
You know how hard it is being a woman, a black woman at that. This white man.
Man.
Sometimes we overlook the fact that we can ride hard in our situation. Knowing
Yo.
white man's world. It's white man's world. I ain't saying I'm innocent. I'm just saying white man's world. This song is for all those times that I messed up, but we messed up. Dear sister, got me twisted up and prison our mission. Crying, looking at my nieces and my nephew's picture. They say don't let this cool world get you. Kinda suspicious, swear one day you might leave me for the body that's richer. Twist the cap off the bottom. I take a sip and see tomorrow. Gotta make it if I have to beg a mama. Keep love, let's late night, locked down and quiet. Don't see they mail, best believe we ride. Keep them jackman, staring at the walls of silence cage where they captured all my rage and violence. It's time I learned a few lessons, never fall for riches. Apologies to my true sisters, fall for riches. Help me raise my black nation, reparations are due. It's true, caught in this world, I took advantage of you. Tell the babies how I love them, precious boys and girls, born black, this white man's world. You know what I heard? No one to this white man's world. Being born with less, I must confess. Only adds on to the stress. 2 gunshots to my homie's head. Died his best. Shot him to death and left him bleeding for his family to see. Pass his casket, gently ask him the heaven of Jesus. My homeboys doing life. Baby mama be stressing. Shedding tears when her son finally asked that question. Where my daddy at? Mama, why we live so poor?